are bound by the blood of martyrs.
serve the ruinous powers!
I shall endure everything with unshakable faith.
Endure.
A tactically sound approach. At your beck and call. It will be done. I took care of this one.
Death to the weak!
I am a navigator, not a servitor.
Doubt is for the weak. Faith without deeds is worthless. I'll do it.
If I may. Me? If you insist, Lord Captain.
Death to non-believers!
As the Emperor commands, I act.
Actions will speak louder than words.
Your reckoning is due. Let's see to it. I won't object to it.
High momentum. As the tactical imperative dictates. My vow is to serve.
places at the fore. At your beck and call. Target well struck. It will be done. Indeed.
Isn't this a job for the serfs? I'm not accustomed to being ordered around.
Doubt is for the weak. Eradicated. As the Emperor commands, I act. I will bathe this battlefield in righteous fury. In thy light I stand, and thy light I crave. Faith without deed, none can escape the Emperor's judgment. I'll do it. Eradicated. Doubt is for the weak. As the Emperor commands. I'll do it. As the Emperor commands, I act.
Momentum.
I am but a vessel for the higher purpose.
Faith without deeds is worthless.
Let my enemies tremble at the sound of my steps. Rejoice in service.
Everyone, step aside. But of course, Lord Captain. I won't object to it.
I've seen worse battles than this in my time. At your beck and call. Reduced to dust. I will do my duty. At your beck and call.
Emperor, give me strength. I am a navigator. Try to die with grace, at least.
I'll do it. Strike is a prayer. I will not. As the Emperor commands, I act.
Let's see to it.
Be gone. High momentum.
Naturally. I feel the power surging. But of course, Lord Captain. Alas, no. For the throne's glory. Let's see to it. Naturally.
Indeed. Victory is imminent. I will do my duty.
I have read tomes of military tactics. Do not dare ask.
The enemies of the Emperor will be undone! Doubt is for the weak. Faith without deeds is worthless. I'll do it.
I need a foothold. I won't do that. But of course, Lord Captain. For the throne's glory. Let's see to it.
It will be done. At your beck and call. It will be done.
Be careful not to cross my gaze. I'm afraid not. Isn't this a job for the serfs?
As the Emperor commands, none can escape the Emperor's judgment.
Let's see to it.
Victory is imminent. Indeed. At your beck and call.
Battlefields are always drowned in scarlet. Me? Is this your captain?
Guided by faith. God Emperor, move through me. Be the fire in my heart. I'll do it. As the Emperor commands.
your duty. Let us walk this path to the end. With each step, I forge my destiny among the stars.
Rogue Trader. I was somewhat brusque at our first meeting, and I would like to make up for it by expressing my thanks for your assistance in the electrodynamic cenobium. Your arrival could not have come at a better time. Thanks to you, I have succeeded in finding the object that brought me to this system in the first place. Now that the weapon of corruption has been seized from the cult, I can satisfy the Lord Inquisitor's wish and travel with you to Footfall, once you have finished your business on Rykad. There is one more thing. The Lord Inquisitor gave me this item some time ago. He must have thought it likely that I would find myself aboard this vessel sooner than he. I was instructed to deliver this device to Lady Theodora. However, given recent events, I believe I ought to present it to you. This is an elucidator, a sacred machine capable of translating the languages of remote and lost worlds into Low Gothic. It can even process Xenos languages to a certain degree. Not without infelicities, but possibly well. May the elucidator serve House von Valancius as faithfully as it has served the acolytes of the Holy Ordos up to now. I would like to offer my assistance in resolving your immediate problems. I am aware that the ship suffered considerable losses during the recent mutiny and was damaged by the cultists' actions, and you have lost many valuable officers as well. You are in a difficult situation. I am at your disposal. It all depends on the electro priests who survived the attack. Fortunately for them, the cultists did not manage to seriously corrupt the holy site, partly thanks to the priesthood's efforts. Nevertheless, I would not be surprised if the local explorator fleet decides to audit and purge the damaged units once it hears about what has happened. Thank you for your time. Please consider me at your complete disposal while I am aboard your vessel. I'm usually the one interested in the pasts of those around me, not the reverse. I come from a night world, Guizorn III. I belong to a branch of one of the noble houses until my exceptional abilities were discovered. After that, I was sent on a black ship to Holy Terra, where I was trained and I began my service for the glory of the Imperium. I do. But I have no ties to my homeworld now. None except my first name. I left Guizorn III when I was still a child. My family disowned me, stripping me of my family name. I was given a new one by those who trained me. Even for a noble, being branded a psyker is a mark of eternal shame. I experienced that firsthand before I was put on the black ship. Like many psykers unaware of their curse, I found out when a strong emotional reaction triggered an involuntary response. My great-aunt had a pet grink. One day, it bit me, and I boiled it from inside out. And when my great-aunt slapped me for what I'd done, I boiled her too. When I arrived on Holy Terra and was tested, I was found to be suitable material for becoming a sanctioned psyker, able to bend his curse to his own will. I can assure you that the adepts of the Astra Telepathica were right in their assessment. Picture a vast prison ship, filled with frightened, angry psykers who can't control their abilities and who have just lost their homes and their families. Some of them were children and adolescents like I was. Some were monstrous creatures who no longer had the right to be called human, or psychopaths who reveled in their impure powers. Once, when one of the miscreants broke free, those in command simply depressurized the bay and got rid of the culprit, along with the prisoners and crew tainted by him. But even after that, I heard the echo of inhuman suffering and terror that filled that part of the ship. It grieves me to recall that episode to this day. No. First, I was accorded the status of a psyker fit for service in the Imperial Guard, where I then spent several years. It was only afterward that I became an agent of the Golden Throne. Since the day of my initiation as an acolyte. So, decades. How many real years it's been, it's hard to say. When I return from a journey through the warp, I often discover that much more or much less time has passed in real space. You can't really be expecting me to answer that question, can you? The first step for biomancers such as myself is to take control of the processes of their own body, including aging. I've endured innumerable hazards in my work. If I allowed every trace of them to remain, I would look completely different today. Indeed, I have visited many of the places brought to the Emperor's light, and those sullied by the filth of the archenemy. In truth, even after all these years spent visiting the various corners of the Imperium and looking beyond its borders, I still consider the Segmentum Solar to be the greatest of all humanity's bastions. Nothing compares to the majesty of Holy Terror, the might of Mars, the grandeur of the Segment's other worlds. Gladly. Of course not. The Lord Inquisitor's entourage comprises dozens of people. The best of the best. Experts in various fields and disciplines. Some of them I know personally. Others I have never met. To be honest, I'm not even certain that the people I know are still alive. I used to work with other acolytes of the Lord Inquisitor, but in the Coronis Expanse, I have been working alone. We are not a retinue. We are acolytes. As for your question, I am closer than anyone else to the one I call my personal teacher. The Lord Inquisitor deemed me worthy of undertaking the most important and sensitive tasks requiring the attention of agents of the Golden Throne. I rarely have the time or the opportunity to think about it. Such as? The Lord Inquisitor was most insistent that I master the discipline of Santic Demonology. I use my faith and my power to crush the enemies of the Imperium. Servants of Chaos tremble at the sound of the Emperor's name, uttered by my lips. I am also a skilled biomancer. I can manipulate bodily processes. Sometimes I resort to those skills in the course of my work, when it is necessary to make the subject of an interrogation more cooperative.
The Messiah knows all, comprehends all. The request is approved. I did conceal certain information. I was a student of Archmagos Amanat, but I committed an act of betrayal after he deviated from sacred dogma. He fell into schism and challenged the sacred boundaries of knowledge. The blessed Amanat claimed the limits of what is permitted must be expanded, because by refusing to explore certain law, we find ourselves in contempt of the seventh universal law. Comprehension is the key to all things. My mentor put forth a thesis claiming that we have stagnated, that a ritual is now nothing but a cage for souls and forced worship of the Omnissiah. He sought to break the cycle of mindless repetition because he saw the inevitable demise of our faith and all humanity at the end of it. This statement is false. My mentor's words sound like heresy. Limits were established because it is dangerous to venture beyond. Each step past them could lead to a bloody slaughter. But the blessed Amanat was not afraid. The teachings of the blessed Amanat spread, and word of it reached the conclave of the Cognizance fleet. They recognized his teachings as tech heresy. Many tech priests suddenly vanished or were subjected to servo penance for minor transgressions. The students of Amanat, whose number included many enlightened and respected tech priests, resisted. My prognosis showed that our most likely future was a schism, and a fratricidal war that would destroy the Cognizant's fleet. That was when I headed to the Conclave. I confessed and handed the information about my mentor's research over to the Conclave. Brazen and thematic studies of the Forbidden Law. The Conclave could use that data to summon Archmagos Amanat to stand trial and compel him to repent on pain of excommunicate traitoris. His subsequent fate is unknown to me.
I pray that the Omnissiah grants us wisdom to overcome the dialectic differences that divide us. I was summoned there by a message that was encrypted with the Blessed Amanat's personal code, and could it be interpreted in several ways. One thing was certain: we were in danger, and I had to go to Rykad Minoris. I never met him, but I think he was a person of worth. The phrase that came from his lips indicates he was in contact with my mentor. I preserved his cortical implant and absorbed the information it contained. However, the large amounts of data memories are encoded with a cipher yet unfamiliar to me.
I was wrong when I assumed it was the Blessed Archmagos Amanat, who assumed the guise of Abel Haneman. But there is a connection between him and the Reverend Abel, and I intend to uncover the nature of this link.
Acknowledged. I will return to ruminating on the search for the Blessed Amanat. The request is approved. I have no information about my origins is worthless. I belong to the priesthood of explorators and came to the Coronis Expanse over 200 years ago. Any events preceding that moment are insignificant. I was honored to become a member of the Explorator Cognizance Fleet. When the Adeptus Mechanicus summoned the faithful for an exploratory venture into the depths of the Coronis Expanse, I joined the fleet in fulfillment of my sacred vows of comprehension.
After I betrayed Archmagos Amanat, the fleet conclave directed me to the orbital station Altar Templum Calixis X-17 for penance.
This venerable temple station was founded in the early years of our expansion into the Coronis Expanse. It is currently a rear observation post of the Cognizance fleet in orbit around the star Furibundus. The sacred fraternity of explorers. The Cult Mechanica sends us out to the frontiers of the known sectors as researchers and conquerors. We are the warriors of the Code, who return to the lost worlds and devote themselves to recovering the lost ancient knowledge. Explorators are granted the privilege of being more independent than many of our tech comrades. However, it has earned us a reputation as unstable and poorly controlled troublemakers whose unorthodox views are dangerously close to apostasy. They are my younger brothers and guides on the way to the Omnissiah. Their machine spirits are directly bound to my neocortex and pick up impulses from my subconscious. Sometimes they act ahead of my thoughts. This is how the Omnissiah leads me to comprehension. Acknowledged. I am honored to belong to the priesthood of Mars, guided by its tenets. We safeguard technology against the impure and the unenlightened. That is where the cult of the Omnissiah originated, and where we were granted the first revelations. Many millennia ago, we made an alliance with the Emperor of Terra and have served the Imperium ever since, paying a tribute to machinery, weapons, and void ships. Everything that bears the blessed seal of machinery comes from our hands, and it is we who make sure the operating rituals are performed as they were meant to. We are everywhere. We are the Mars-forged steel bars that give the Imperium strength. It is both a treasure and a secret. Technology is how the divinity of the Omnissiah manifests itself in this world. This is why the uninitiated may only be allowed to touch the most vulgar and mundane of its instances. We, on the other hand, are authorized to use the sacred catechism of maintenance and operation. Although there is another reason to deny lay people the sacrament of knowledge, it can be dangerous. Twisted by renegades, the Omnissiah's wisdom is called heretic, and the exposure to it may corrupt the uninitiated. Another danger is knowledge, strangely interpreted and inscrutably twisted by the minds of Xenos. This bane is called xenotech. This statement is true. What many consider chains on our way to comprehension is our armor, which we have inherited from our wisdom-blessed predecessors. This electu indicates that I am a Magos, who has mastered the sacraments of many spheres of knowledge, and has the right to conduct services in a forged cathedral. Organic tissue is an imperfect replica of the machine, transient and vulnerable. Metal is more stable, more effective, and more durable. Flesh speak is flawed next to binaric language. Meat begets weakness, it softens the mind and undermines discipline. But you can replace metal when it wears down. In addition, a machine is a supreme form of knowledge. And by assuming mechanical form, we become closer to the Omnissiah. However, like all things sacred, our augmentations must not be defiled by the eyes of the ignorant. Which is why we reveal only the crudest of tools, while holier mechanisms remain concealed beneath our crimson robes. The right to witness the miracle of flesh being fused with holy metal is granted only to those who have ascended to the rank of initiate. However, your lofty status of Rogue Trader allows me to make a partial exception and reveal my sacred stigmata. The Omnissiah has been generous to you too. He has granted you understanding. He is the divine mechanism, the maker of technology. The universe was made to resemble a mechanical marvel because the Omnissiah rules over it. Knowledge is the highest form that he uses to manifest in the world. For now. Someday, he will come to this world in the absolute fullness of his splendor. The Adeptus Mechanicus worshipped the Emperor. He is the earthly manifestation of the Omnissiah, who brought humanity into the light of divine grace. Partially true. I had a voice modulator implanted alongside the respiratory purification module, but there is an
additional reason. Gothic is not my first language. I'm used to thinking and making statements in lingua technis. The binaric language is more informative, more ergonomic, and less prone to misinterpretation. Acknowledged. May your labors be effective and fruitful.